And at this point, we'd like to invite members of that working group who are not facilitators to present that organization or present that idea. Because two of us who are there, all of us who are facilitating, we're part of that working group, but for the rules of the General Assembly, we're not supposed to be partial to any idea or proposal, so we're withdrawing ourselves. So I'm asking for maybe Scott, maybe Shrina, maybe
Joe.
Everybody who was at, yeah, come on up, Joe. Come on up, Scott. Come on up, Shrina. Now, eventually we're going to call consensus on this idea, and it's very important that everyone participate in that. We have the neutral and we have the no, but it's very important that everybody give their input because we really want this to be a decision made by the group. If you have concerns about anything that's being presented, we're going to use the mechanisms of the points of information, clarifying question, to flesh out those concerns and have dialogue. And then after we present and we have some of those conversations, I think it would be appropriate to have a stack where people can talk about their opinions about this proposal and to be considered by the group. Ryan, you got something?
No. It's just
yeah, our man in the green hat is a stack. All right, how do you guys feel?
Good.
Ready? You want to talk about it? All right, kill it.
So, mic check.
Mic check. Check.
So on Thursday, we had a working group to set a proposal for the occupation to take Worcester Common. In that proposal, we set up a number of teams. And anyone at any time, if you agree with a Worcester Common occupation, can volunteer for any of the groups that you qualify for. One of the groups is a media team. This group is in charge of outreaching to the greater community, writing press releases before and immediately after the occupation. A press release before has already been released. But that also detailed every event that had gone on today and a proposal, not an actual occupation for today.
Okay.
Let me clarify. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me. Do I need a mic? Do I need people's mic? No. You guys back there, do I need people's mic? No. We can hear you now. All right. So if anyone wants to join the media team, you would be in charge of writing a press release after the occupation pending consensus by the group for an occupation of the common today. Then we set up a outreach team which is in charge of outreaching to, as soon as a decision is made, again, consensus pending, to outreach to Providence, Boston, Hartford, New Haven, all those other occupations to gather their support for a Worcester occupation today. I don't have the list with me, but there are some people who have volunteered to be outreach for those different cities. We still need Boston though. Also part of outreach is updating the Twitter account and all the social media accounts to make sure that people come support an occupation. Then we set up a legal team. The legal team consists of a police liaison who is going to be in charge of talking to the police and finding out what exactly the charges are and negotiating with the police pending arrests for an occupation. Also part of the legal team would be a team of legal observers. Legal observers are not supposed to get arrested. There is a chance just by their presence that they will be arrested, but they are not allowed to conduct any activity that would get them arrested, commit to any actions that would get them arrested. There were legal observer trainings, so in order to be a legal observer, you had to have gone to one of those legal observer trainings. The other...
Clarifying question. Do we have a quick count how many people here are already legal observers? Because I am.
And again, so the question was, do we have a count of how many people are trained legal observers? Again, if you are qualified for any of these groups, please, pending approval, please. Okay, so if you are qualified for any of these groups, pending consensus, please join one of the groups if you feel comfortable doing so. And we can get those on notes and possibly stack. How would we organize that?
We should just have.
We can have a count right now of how many.
Just like raise
Okay.
I do.
So
Matt does.
the proposal is raise your hand if you have been to a legal observer training and if you are trained.
So we got 2 right now. Okay.
3.
3 right now. Here right now.
Okay.
So if anyone is interested in being in any of those groups, pending approval of occupation of the common, come see our note taker, Ryan.
Clarifying question. Are there any more scheduled trainings for legal observers?
I don't know the question. I don't know the answer to that. The question is, are there any more scheduled trainings for legal observers? Does anyone know the answer to that?
I can get in touch with Randy and find out.
I know that our lawyer Beverly is out of commission just for a few days. She's going through some medical stuff, but she's always willing and able to do it as soon as she's back.
Mic check!
Okay. We have Beverly is the lawyer.
Beverly
is the lawyer.
I can be loud if I need to, just to know I have to repeat it. Beverly's our lawyer. She's out of commission. She's got medical issues for a few days, but she's always willing to meet with anybody to do more legal observer training. We have direct contact with her. Matt does. I can always get her number, and then we can always reach out to Boston. Ursula I've only heard good things about her. But obviously Beverly is a really good person in Worcester who is willing to do legal observer training whenever possible. She should be back from whatever she's going through within the week. So obviously we want to give her space, but she's definitely willing and able to help out whenever possible. And I just went and saw her just the other day to get my legal observer training.
So also part of the notes that we took during that working group, they're posted on every social media outlet that we have. They're posted on the forum, the 2 Facebook pages, both the Twitter accounts, and all the emails of Occupy Worcester. So if you want to see any of the notes or any information that was brought up during that working group, please look at any of those outlets. Also, in those notes is the National Lawyers Guild phone number, executive director information, and address. This is the number that you would call if you are arrested to get legal advice and legal help. There's also, we set up a medic team. These are trained medics. They're either EMTs or previously trained in basic CPR and first aid, or they've gone to one of our medic trainings, so they're street medic trained. People included in this group are Scott, Jacob, myself, I'm a former EMT. We also have another EMT over there, she's in the orange shirt, raising her hand. And there's a few other people who are also trained medics. And then the last thing we set up was a logistics team, and Scott's going to talk more about that.
So we decided that we would prepare in case we do come to consensus right now after the conversation. So just to recap, we after I lay out the proposal, we're going to take a quick temperature check. Is that okay? Before we do, where's Joe? Yeah, so we're going to take a quick temperature check on the proposal after I lay it out, and then we're going to open stack for people to talk about it before we reach consensus, before we ask for consensus. So essentially, we prepared in case we do reach consensus today to move to the common. We have cars full of tents and tarps and ropes, and we're basically prepared to move camp down to here. Although we've maintained base camp, and there's someone watching camp at Lake Park, so all of our eggs are not in any baskets anywhere.
Also, just before Scott starts, I just want to make sure that people know that you do not have to get arrested. There are a group of people who feel comfortable with that idea, and then there are people who support those people, but the people who support those people aren't necessarily people who also want to get arrested, and the police will most likely give warnings whether you will be arrested and you will have the opportunity to walk away or to support from afar, so that you do not have to be arrested.
Not always. Not always. Right.
But in this situation, just to be clear, considering it's before 10 o'clock at night, being in the common, you're at no risk whatsoever. Even if you're one of the people setting up one of the tents, the only thing they can do is either A, take the tents down, or B, give you over and over warnings, and then so they wouldn't just come right in and just start arresting people before 10 o'clock. That's just
Are tents illegal at any time of the day?
Yes, the
But
tents
what
are.
he's saying is that they would take down the tents. You wouldn't be arrested for that.
And it's not everybody setting up the tent. So even if there was grounds to arrest the people setting them up, that's going to be a core group who we've already decided on, a group of people who will be the tent setter uppers, so that we have a core group of people who are technically breaking the law, and everybody else is just supporting them. So there's really no risk before 10 o'clock for people who want to be a supporter in the park.
Clarifying question. Are things like liaison with the city and I'm not sure what else, legal, is that in place at this time?
Legal observers are in place. We can always have more people volunteer to be legal observers. Police liaison has voiced that they are not comfortable being police liaison, so that position is now currently open.
So we did decide in the core group meeting that we would appoint a police liaison before officially going into a situation where we would be at risk. So there are a couple people who we had in mind, but today is the time where we ask them if they're comfortable being that liaison. Okay, so logistics of it. This is essentially the proposal. So our proposal is that pending confirmation and consensus of the group, we, the tent setter upper group, leave GA, go to the car, get the tents, and start setting them up while we have this critical mass of people. And the place that is proposed is over there. That's also up for discussion, but between these two paths in this section to the far, near the trees, that would be the location. That's also obviously up for discussion. And the way it works, so we essentially would start setting up tents, and in the event that the police do come in later after 10 o'clock and try to remove us, the suggestion was that we all get into our tents, and instead of locking arms, because that's more of a resistance. So that was one suggestion. But so the concrete proposal is that we move camp here today. Can I get a temperature check on that? Now we're gonna open stack for.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna take stack for the issue of whether we want to occupy the commons today. Brian is taking stack concerns, opinions, bring them there, and we'll all talk about it.
Right, Steph?